phone.
Tigger,
Give
get
me
off.
my phone.
Do you not see Autumn Croc? Bro, why
Stop.
did you do
I'm not
that?
doing that.
Yes, you did. You did.
She dropped.
Bro, you're literally stepping on her.
I'm not stepping on her, Alex. I just want
Bro.
my phone. She could give me the phone and it'd be over. She could give me the phone and it would be over.
Bro, just get over her. She's gonna
I'm
give
not
you.
on her at all. Give me my phone.
Get off of me,
Give me
Tigger.
my phone.
D, if I was anybody else, you wouldn't be doing this.
If you say so. Give me my phone.
Bro, just get over her. You can buy a new phone.
Get off of me!
Mr. Tiger!
Get off of me!
Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. Do I have your attention now? So much going on in the world. Just give back the phone, woman. Just like I'm about to give y'all this boxing roll-up. Let me tell y'all something. You got all kind of stuff going on, so let's get to it. Deontay Wilder and Oleksandr Usyk. Word on the street is Wilder getting some real money to fight Usyk, and he signed as part of the deal. Now, of course, you can't trust everything you get off the internet, so I think it's some bullshit. But at the same time, I do know there's some conversations going on between Wilder and Usyk camps. But as far as a deal being reached, I'm going to tell you what I heard, but I didn't hear it from no official source, so we just having a conversation. So don't poke me in the eyeball over it. Floyd Mayweather's having a very difficult year. And some people don't feel sorry for that guy. And Tim Tszyu and Errol Spence, serious concerns for one of those guys, and we'll get to it. Then Ryan Garcia and Conor Benn, Oscar De La Hoya doing what he does, complicating shit. But hey, if he has a contract in place saying certain things can't happen, it is what it is. Lester Martinez looks like he wants to fight Canelo. Mexico versus Guatemala. We'll see how that, we'll talk about that and see how that plays out. Then Shakur Foster is keeping his foot on Shakur Stevenson's neck. He is not letting up. Shakur Stevenson, so Devin Haney got Keyshawn Davis problems and Shakur Stevenson problems. But Shakur Stevenson got Shakur Foster problems. They just need to all fight. Normally I say, can't we all just get along? Hell no. Can't we all just fight? And Devin Haney out here with his little dilemma with being forced to go to negotiate with Keyshawn Davis to go to purse bid or drop his belt. And Gervonta Davis delaying his return. No one knows why, but he has delayed his return to next year. And then Claressa Shields and what could be going on with her. But how about this? Claressa Shields in a new chapter. It could be possible. Now, we know everybody talking about Claressa Shields. I do the boxing roll-up, so she only going to get a certain amount of time allocated to her to discuss it. So let's just give her part. Her little, man, hold on 1 second. Put that over there, all right? Yep. Okay, sorry, man, my son came in here. Let's just go ahead and allocate a little time to Big Vote. Now, one of the most interesting conversations surrounding Claressa Shields is whether she may eventually compete at the lower weight classes after she makes 160 to fight Kay Scott, which I think Claressa Shields is going to rehydrate to over 180 pounds or close to it. Now, she's going to be fighting at 160. She just has to get to that weight for a moment in time, and then she can rehydrate to what she wants to. So Claressa Shields could definitely rehydrate. I would say 175 to 180, but I wouldn't be surprised if she rehydrated over 20 pounds. But definitely at least 15, I would think. So Kay Scott has her hands full with Claressa Shields. Now, as far as Claressa, because I think she's going to win. But if she beats Kay Scott, will she stay at the lower weight classes and fight again? And I think if that were to happen, the immediate conversation will revolve around the competition. Okay? Now look, Big Vote getting down to 160. All right, cool. Round of applause. She found the discipline, found the motivation. She's committed to getting the weight down. She's down at 160. The real reason why she's going to 160, I got my own ideas. I think there's an agreement in place for her to come down and weight and to have those baddies fight and have some of those girls go out there and try to fight, in boxing, in particular the heavyweight division, which opens it up for them to possibly become a heavyweight champion because word on the street is those women can really fight. And if they already can fight and they start to train as a boxer, they may have a real shot at coming into professional boxing and shaking it up and just how interesting that would be to see now you get these baddies or these social media personalities, but have huge profiles, millions of followers that come into women's boxing. I mean, so that's just going to bring more attention to the sport. But back on Claressa, what competition is there for her? I mean, historically, lower weight divisions in women's boxing have often featured deeper pools of elite opponents and more established rivalries. But can Claressa get down to 160 and establish a rivalry with someone? Who would be her rival? Michaela Mayer, O'Shea Jones, Raquel Miller. I don't know who it would be. I tell you what, Lauren Price is going to come up to 160, and that's supposed to be Claressa's next fight after Kay Scott. That could be interesting. But at the end of the day, the fight that people want to see, or the fights would be Claressa against Amanda Serrano or Alicia Baumgartner, and there just seems to be too much of a weight difference. And even if there were to fight, and both of them, and those smaller women, Alicia and Amanda, agreed to fight her at 160 or even 154, Claressa's still going to rehydrate. So, I mean, it's just all around. Claressa doesn't really have anywhere to go, and she's not going to make anybody happy. Now, there is one name that Claressa could fight, but people are going to keep saying, oh, she's a drug cheat. They say that Hannah Gabriels is a drug cheat. They say Chris Cyborg is a drug cheat, so Hood Champion stop talking about him. Well, they're going to say that because it's true. There were some tests that came back positive for both women, but Hannah cleared her shit up. I read through the mountains of paperwork. She cleared her stuff up. Hannah Gabriels is not a drug cheat, wasn't trying to get an edge over Claressa Shields. And even Hannah would say she understands why some people will still feel the way she felt, but she has all the documentation, nothing to hide. She's been very transparent. But I think the real fight for Claressa at 160. All right, forget about Chris Cyborg. I understand. I think that's an interesting fight. I think Claressa wins it, but Chris Cyborg's not a real boxer. But she's a fighter, but she's not a real boxer. But Hannah Gabriels, to me, is the real competition at 160 pounds because she's there right now. Will Claressa give her the fight? I don't know. Some say Claressa won't give her the fight because Hannah Gabriels hit her with the Costa Rican bing bings and dropped her. And Claressa doesn't want anything to do with that again, even though Claressa came back and won the fight. But I just think fans are looking at it and they're just trying to figure out what could be the most intriguing matchup for Claressa Shields. But I'll tell you what, we may agree on some things, we may disagree on others, but there's another layer to the discussion. Modern athletes increasingly think beyond championships, right? And this is what Claressa, I think, is going when it comes to branding. I think she's really thinking about endorsements now, sponsorship opportunities, because she's missed out on so much because of the choices she's made. It's not anyone else's fault, and it definitely has nothing to do with being a woman or being black. Okay, I think 95% of it. Right? Because you just never know. You know how shit can be sometimes when it comes to women. Life isn't fair towards the women and it isn't fair towards minorities, right? So I would say 95% of Claressa's issues could be those things. The other 95% is probably the attitude. So let's hold our horses and not take it to the stupid. Keep taking everything and putting it underneath this race umbrella or gender umbrella. How about the attitude umbrella? But at 160, I feel she's trying to make a change. And look, I'm not telling you I agree or disagree. I'm just telling you what I'm observing and how I'm interpreting things. I think she's thinking about the branding, endorsements, sponsorship opportunities, media appearances, fitness ventures, and long-term business opportunities, things that she's just missed out on. And a lot of people who are observing this like me believe that elite athletes today understand the athletic success and marketability that often work together. Claressa has the athletic success, but she doesn't have the marketability. And for those of you saying, well, nah, she's not thinking about that. She's just thinking about papoose, How about this? Claressa's been missing out on awards. ESPYs, BET Awards, Sportswoman of the Year Award. She's been missing out on awards. You don't think that bothers Claressa Shields? Big whoop. Man, please. Y'all don't think that bothers her? It doesn't bother her? That shit bothers the hell out of Claressa Shields. But when she's sitting there and she's seeing these other people and women winning, I think she's now saying to herself, okay, man, please. Layla Ali was right. I ain't gonna tell nobody that. She was right. My brand, cutting down in weight, going with the real competition, continue my athletic success. Then Claressa looking at them other women. Man, please. What are they doing that have them winning fights over me? Why am I not winning? Why for me? And she looking at the Asha Wilsons, the Angel Reeses, and she's saying, holy shit, I am not doing 1/100th of what these women are doing. So maybe Claressa's decided now that she's got to bring that athletic success together and work on her marketability. That way she can sit here and blow up like the world trade. But whether Claressa changes her ways, if she stays in the lower weight division or not, I think any discussion about her future, I think it's likely going to involve boxing, business considerations, and whether she's going to be successful depends on her attitude and whether she can, and just how successful she can be based on the amount of chaos that she's already caused, based on her choice to be a villain. So I think that's the biggest challenge, and I think the biggest challenge is going to remain the same because the athletic achievement is the centerpiece of the brand, but it's not everything. And until Claressa Shields realizes the athletic achievements is not all it takes to really go out here and find yourself in a position like an Angel Reese, Aja Wilson, Caitlin Clark, even like the Amanda Serranos, Alicia Baumgartners, the Katie Taylors, and the Caroline DeBar, and even Layla Ali, and these women who've had different sponsorship deals, endorsement deals, or who are making money outside of boxing. Claressa's got to understand it's more than achievement. It's really about your brand, how people perceive you, and like I always say, attitude. Now, speaking of somebody whose attitude, it's sometimes good, sometimes bad, but everyone has an opinion on it, Gervonta Davis. Well, he was supposed to be returning to the ring this year, but we all got a big shock that all of a sudden he's not coming back to 2027 per Al Heyman. He was supposed to be fighting Floyd Schofield. That got pushed back. Then there seemed to be some talks with him and Devin Haney. He became a champion in recess. And I mean, all kind of shit's going on with Gervonta Davis. Now we're sitting here wondering what the hell's going on. Is it a legal issue that's derailed the man? We don't know. All we know is uncertainty continues because we're hoping to see him get some activity going on after, a lot of the personal woes that he's faced. But fans are frustrated. And they're frustrated because Tank is one of the biggest boxing attractions. Every year he sits out is a year where, mega fights don't happen, rivalries cool off, momentum slows, and opportunities disappear. Look, Tank's not that guy anymore. Yeah, I said it. Gervonta Tank Davis is not that guy anymore. Out of sight, out of mind. You understand? The show goes on. Now, when he comes back, do things start to bubble again? Yeah, but I mean, it's not the same. And this shit about PBC and the DAZN deal, well, let me put it to you this way. Word on the street is the DAZN working deal with PBC. They're like, all right, cool, but Gervonta can't be included. Now, I don't know what that means if Gervonta with his personal woes, but, the shit that was going on with domestic issues, if the DAZN doesn't want to have anything to do with him, or if they're saying, hey, look, Tank is a superstar, we'll sign a deal with you with PBC and DAZN, but for Tank's deal, we need to make sure there's more money on the table because he's a superstar. He's on the level of a Canelo. I don't know, but it did make me stop and think, what the hell is that about? Anyway, more to come on that. But I just feel he's got to figure it out because opportunities are disappearing. And the boxing public, everybody was sitting here, man, really thinking we could have got the Devin Haney fight, or maybe at the Shakur Stevenson fight, if Shakur and Devin doesn't fight. See, first it seemed like Devin wanted Gervonta. Then all of a sudden Devin seemed like he and Shakur trying to sort it out. Then Devin got hit with the mandatory for Keyshawn. Will he fight Keyshawn? Will he just not fight him, drop the belt, and go do something else? And there are other major names. But the bottom line is everybody was talking. Everybody's watching Devin, Keyshawn, Shakur, Gervonta. And we're all out here saying, you know what, man, forget this. Can't we all just get along bullshit? Y'all need to fight. But now it looks like, Tank's out the equation to next year. So everyone's left waiting again, and we'll see how things play out. Now, speaking of Devin Haney, first let me say I respect the relationship with Devin and his dad. We can all have an opinion about Beijing Bill, but Devin and his pops, I don't know what the hell they got going on, but they didn't figure it out. They didn't crack the code on making money in boxing, didn't they? But Devin finds himself in a really fascinating position that, hold on one second. Let me show you. I'll be over here running my mouth so much, I might as well show y'all what I'm talking about. Let me scroll on down the yellow brick road. Show y'all what I'm talking about. Here it is right here. Old Devin Haney. Here we go. All right. At 147 pounds, Devin Haney is the WBO champion. Okay? You got Keyshawn Davis as the mandatory, then Brian Norman Jr., then Tszyu. Devin's not fighting Liam Paro. He's not fighting Ryan. He's not fighting Rolly. Matter of fact, Rolly and Tszyu are fighting. But as a WBO champion, Devin Haney just got hit with a mandatory for him to face Keyshawn. Now, is Keyshawn the logical fight? Some think so. But the WBO situation is forcing him to go to Keyshawn, right? Will he do it? I don't know. Others believe the bigger long-term fight remains Haney against Shakur Stevenson. Haney can't fight Shakur. He just had to drop the WBO belt and go and fight Shakur Stevenson. But the reason many fans aren't panicking because, although it seems a bit quirky, they just believe boxing ultimately is just going to follow the money. And Devin is about the money. His dad's about the money. I don't think Devin really cares to hold on to that title because he's already checked the box. He's looking to go on and make money hand over fist. And when you think about this from a business standpoint, Haney versus Shakur, I think there's more intrigue with that fight than Haney against Keyshawn Davis. You know what I'm saying? I really do. And what has Keyshawn done to deserve a fight against Devin Haney anyway at 147 for a title? But Haney and Shakur, that's the fight to make. You're talking about two elite technicians. Years of history. The storyline is there. Massive debate on who people think wins. And I think there's a huge promotional potential and big, big money on the table. And I don't think it'll be an issue of making the fight with Zuffa and all that because Devin and his dad have ensured Devin doesn't get tied down anywhere for extended periods of time. So many fans believe the Haney-Shakur Stevenson matchup, that sells itself. That's the fight to make. The Keyshawn Davis fight is good too, but they said the most intriguing fight for Devin was Gervonta and no Gervonta Shakur. So we got to wait and see what Devin decides to do. But it does seem to be backed into a corner. Now talk about someone else being backed into a corner, Shakur Stevenson, when it comes to Shakur Foster. Continuing to call him out for a fight. Saying Shakur knows what it is. I whipped his ass. He disrespected me. As a man, he's got to see me. Let me tell you this, man. I like Shakur Foster. He wants the opportunity. So I said, why does he want to fight Shakur Stevenson so bad? Is it because he really believes he can beat him? Is it because he was disrespected? Or is it because he knows defeating Shakur would instantly change his career? I mean, you're talking about an overnight change, overnight success. And Shakur's already a bad boy with a lot of respect in the boxing community for what he does with them hands. But if he fights Shakur and he happens to beat Shakur Stevenson, and look, that's a big if now, then overnight, he's a superstar. Shakur remains one of boxing's most respected technicians. I mean, and there's a reason why they compare this man to Floyd Mayweather, and there's a reason why they talk about Shakur should be up on that pound-for-pound list as number one. But if you get a victory over someone like Shakur Stevenson, that would dramatically alter the boxing landscape and alters Shakur Foster's boxing career. So that said, many analysts still view Shakur as one of the toughest puzzles in boxing. But O'Shaquie Foster's trying to tell people, look, during those sparring sessions, I solved that puzzle. And if I solved it during sparring, I'll solve it in the ring under the bright lights. So y'all can hold your horses, like Hood Champion says, and stop taking it to the goddamn stupid. Now, Lester Martinez, Terrence Crawford's buddy. This man dreaming big, man. Lester Martinez continues gaining support. Fans love his precious style and determination. Now, he wants the win of Canelo Alvarez and Billy. I think that's a damn good fight. I think Canelo and Martinez is good. He already fought Billy, but he just felt like if there was another round or two, he would have gotten Billy up out of there. To that, I say in the most respectful way, Mr. Martinez, let's not take it to the stupid. You and Billy were going back and forth. I don't think you would have knocked him out. I don't think he would have knocked you out. Y'all would have just continued beating the shit out of each other. But as far as Canelo Alvarez, if he gets through in Billy, that's an interesting fight. Because you're talking about major regional significance. Mexico. Viva Mexico Camarones versus Guatemala. I don't know what they be playing them horns over there, but I'm going to drop some horns for the Guatemalans. Viva Guatemala. That shit would generate tremendous interest throughout Latin America, I'm telling you. Everybody in there, everybody who speaks Spanish and us non-Spanish speakers will be tuned into that shit because Lester Martinez brings that heat. And we already know what Canelo can do. Is he still the Canelo of old? No, but we still know he can get busy. But all through Latin America, man, that shit would create a significant buzz. And you could see a passing of the torch moment where Martinez clips Canelo, and all of a sudden now, he's the guy in the Cinco de Mayo weekends, and he's the guy in I don't know what Guatemalan Independence Day is, but maybe they have him fight on Mexican Independence Day because he'll absorb the Mexican fans. You know what I'm saying? So for Martinez, even being mentioned in those conversation shows, just how far his profile has risen. And I think his profile rising the way it has a lot to do with the way he fights, but also being out there in that Crawford camp with Bomac. And I think that has a lot to do with it as well. But the bottom line is, he's here now, and he just wants his opportunity to do the business. But talk about somebody else who wants an opportunity to do the business, but you got this one cockerhole who's just fucking up everything. Ryan Garcia and Conor Benn, this whole shit is stalled now. And the biggest obstacle appears to be De La Hoya. Like, I'm going to tell you, De La Hoya, get the fuck out the way. Jesus Christ. We understand you got contracts. We understand that you want to make sure you get your slice of the pie. But Lord have mercy. You out here, man, ruining the opportunities for your guys, man. I understand the contractual obligation, but this is bullshit. Let Ryan Garcia fight Conor Benn. Fans are tired of hearing about the negotiations and the contract, and no one told me, and I ain't know he didn't do, and there's that clapback Thursday, and Viva Mexico, and man, shut up. Even Hood Champion's frustrated. Fans are frustrated because it's one delay after the next. On paper, Ryan Garcia and Conor Benn, that's the type of fight modern boxing needs. Ryan Garcia to knock Ben out and shut him up. Because Conor Benn out here thinking he's something that he's not. But one thing he is, he's a big personality, and so is Ryan. He has a big fan base, and so does Ryan. And there are big stakes on the line when these two get in the ring. But I personally think Ryan Garcia knocks Conor Benn out in one round. One round, Conor Benn gets knocked out. I just don't think he can stand up to anything Ryan Garcia throws. Ben's going to be aggressive. He's going to rush him, and he's going to walk right into the goddamn big left hook. And then Conor Ben's going to be chest to canvas, ass in the air like at a Diddy party. Someone else who could be chest to canvas, ass in the air, like at a Diddy party, but down under in Australia, is Errol Spence against Tim Tszyu. The more I watch this, the more I worry about Errol Spence Jr. The closer the fight gets, the more discussions surround both of these guys. Tim Tszyu appears extremely focused, balanced, coordinated, looking like a beast. Observers believe he's entering the fight in peak form and that, Errol Spence is going to have his hands full. But they continue debating where Errol Spence Jr. is physically after the years of wear and tear. And I'm going to tell you why they feel that way. Let me see something. I'm gonna show you why. Because even I'm watching it, I'm like, what the hell? It's pretty sad. It's pretty sad to watch it. Because in my opinion, and remember, this is just my opinion. Here it is here. Let me go here. Okay. Watch Errol Spence. He just looks like something's missing. Now let's watch the coordination and how he's throwing the shots. Now, maybe he's tired or whatever, I don't know. But there are people looking at this and they're concerned about the spacing between his feet. They're looking at he's leaning over the front foot. How when he's look at these combinations, like what he's doing, he's slipping and throwing the shot. They're just saying it doesn't flow, it's not smooth, and he just looks. Man, I don't know, man. Because I like Errol Spence, but I'm just telling you, even when I look at that, it's like maybe he's tired. Because I do those drills, man. I have my son doing those drills, and we look more balanced and coordinated than Errol Spence looks. But he could be tired. But I'll tell you this: how is Errol Spence Jr. physically? That's my question. Like, what's really going on with EJ? Because we know that there's talent there for Tim Tszyu, talent there for Errol Spence. And no one's doubting Spence's accomplishments. We know what he was. But the concern is whether he can still consistently perform at that level, man. And especially that level that made him one of boxing's elite champions. But when, again, that video may not mean anything. But for me, I'm watching and I see what people were saying. That's why I played it. And I'm like, damn, the balance does seem off a little bit. But hey, I guess we'll find out when him and Tim Tszyu get in the ring. Now, speaking of something interesting, let's change gears for a little bit. Ice Cube calls out the Ball brothers, LiAngelo Ball, LaMelo Ball, and Alonzo Ball. He wants them to come play basketball in the Big Three. They always talking shit, the dad anyway. Put all three of them on the team, you got a championship. All right, put them in the Big Three. See if they can at least win that. If they can't win that, they ain't winning no championship in the NBA. But the appeal is obvious. The Ball family generates attention, and attention translates into viewers, and Ice Cube knows that, and that's why he's trying to get them to come over. I wonder if they'll do it. To me, they should. Shit, all them guys over 6, they all 6'6" plus, was LaMelo like 6'9". They tall as shit. They can ball. 2 of them get busy in the NBA. LiAngelo would be in the NBA too, but he was over there. I think he was in China stealing fried rice and chicken wings. Popped his ass, and that destroyed him. His brand going out the window, just like that. One dumb choice. But anyway, let's see what they're going to do. But it would be interesting, and for a guy who only follows boxing like myself, I would tune in and watch that shit. I ain't going to lie. But speaking of tuning in and watching things, Floyd Mayweather. Difficult year for him, man. One of the most recognizable names in the sport. Many people say he's the best fighter to ever put on a pair of boxing gloves. But you look at these events this man had planned this year. Mike Tyson, the Zambides guy, Manny Pacquiao. All 3 have failed to materialize. So see, whenever that happens, fans start speculating. The reality is that organizing major combat sports is complicated, but it feels like Al Heyman may be blackballing that dude. He may really be trying to drive him into the dirt like they said. What the hell happened to Floyd Mayweather? It's not a venue issue. It's not a broadcast partner issue. It's not a sponsor issue, fighter agreement issue. There's something else going on behind the scenes. And I personally think the secret society that helped build Mayweather up to make all that money is the same one that's tearing him down to make sure he can't make any money. So more to come on all that. But it's kind of sad to see Floyd Mayweather going through what he's going through right now. But the good thing is, it's temporary. You know what I'm saying? Shit ain't gonna last forever. He'll get through it. Everything will balance out, and Floyd will be all right. And as far as him being broke, Look, he may not have what he said, $1-2 billion anymore. But if the motherfucker only has 300 million, still not a bad position to be in. That's MC Hammer broke, you know what I'm saying? He can still get some fried rice and chicken wings, so that's all that really matters anyway. Now, before I get out of here, Deontay Wilder and Oleksandr Usyk. Boy, the rumors are flying. You know, Wilder, Usyk, something about Wilder getting $10 million. That shit sparked debate because even I'm like, how the hell Wilder getting $10 million for Usyk? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he shouldn't get that. I mean, get a man $100 million for all I care. I want Wilder to get paid because he came into the boxing for his daughter. So no matter what I agree with or disagree with Wilder, I'll always support him. And I'll always support Luis Ortiz because of the reason he came into boxing and what they've been able to do. But fans believe both fighters deserve premium compensation because of their accomplishments and name recognition. But others question whether the matchup would generate enough interest to justify such a large purse. Either way, the fight would attract global attention. I mean, Usyk was getting his ass whipped by Rico Verhoeven until he landed the Ukrainian bing uppercut on him and got Verhoeven on Queer Street. Wilder, he had a weird fight with Chisora. But the bottom line, neither one looked like the kind of fighter that we fell in love with. They both look very vulnerable. I still got Usyk over Wilder if they fight. But, you know, Wilder's a puncher. And now we'll get to see a real puncher. AJ was too, but Wilder he was that guy who was known as, and many people say he's the hardest puncher ever in the history of the boxing, but Wilder's got that freakish power, and you just don't know if Usyk is slowed down enough to where with that southpaw style and Wilder can line him up, you know, just needs that moment in time to just throw it, as if Wilder has the confidence to even throw it. But you just don't know if he can land that shit, but I think Usyk gets him out of it within 2 rounds. That's just me. But one thing for sure, drama's guaranteed if them two fight. Because Usyk, I think some of his confidence is gone. And Wilder, a whole lot of his confidence is gone. So I think it's gonna be interesting. But I think Usyk gets it. But the bottom line is this shit about $10 million and all that. Look, I read a lot of stuff on the internet. I'm just gonna tell you, I don't know about that. But if Wilder's getting 10 million, 20 million, whatever, then good for Wilder. Because after he fights Usyk, and Usyk, I believe he knocks him out, that'll probably be Wilder's last fight. And I think Wilder should retire anyway. He's not the same, man. He is not the same. Kind of sad to see a fighter that's a shell of what they once were still out here trying to do this at the highest level, just knowing that they don't have it anymore. But hey, if he wants to do it and he likes it, I guess we should love it, right? That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans on 7 continents. Don't take it to the stupid. Hold them horses. Be positive and eat some of that fried rice and chicken wings. You know, I'm in the breeze.